From Mount Shasta to Spain. Wow, what an adventure it has been. Travel has been such a big growth factor. Honestly, I think everybody should travel. It doesn't even have to be such large distances. I'm from LA for context, in case you're new to this channel. So, yeah, even something in California, Northern California, is about, I don't know, what is it, like a 10-hour drive or 8 hour? No, I don't know. It's a long drive, okay? And Spain, well, like a 16-hour flight or so. So yeah, you can say I've been a bit extreme in my travels. It's not necessary, but for me, the way I've been seeing it is I've been reconciling these different aspects of myself through travel and through ancestral healing and generational healing. And maybe that's something you've done inadvertently. Maybe like think of the places you've traveled and maybe things that you picked up along the way, things you let go, something you learned. Oftentimes where we go, where we travel, yeah, it's all fun and games. It can be fun and games, but usually, especially if we are more attuned to our environments, there's something there we're learning, we're picking up, we're letting go, something that is changing us, transforming us. So for me, the reason I say it's ancestral generational is because I see a pattern in my travels and it's not on purpose. It's kind of funny. It's definitely not on purpose. It just seems to work that way. When something major happens in my life, I travel somewhere and I've noticed a pattern of like, wait, this is all places that are ancestral, that are in my genetic code, that are in my family lineage, that for example, I am very, very mixed. I think the only thing I do not have in my genetic, because I've taken those DNA tests, right? Like the, not Ancestry, but the other one. And the only thing I don't have is Russian or like that region and like Australia, Ocean. Okay, I can't pronounce that, but that the Australia area, which makes sense, is basically a big island and yeah, I don't have any ancestors there. So those are really the only two areas I do not have. But other than that, I have it pretty much in my profile because of through colonization and imperialism. But my parents, I have a Mexican parent and a Salvadorian parent. And predominantly, I am indigenous. I'm about 50% indigenous American. So I have a lot of Native American blood in me. And the rest is primarily European and a little bit of African. So I have European, Spain colonized the Americas for the most part. So I have a very high percentage of Spaniard and Portuguese. So let's say like the major ones, my major countries are Mexico, El Salvador, Spain. Those are the three major ones. And obviously like Americas in general because of the Native American. My first major breakup, I went to Mexico. And I connected so much with the energy there, my lineage, my family, because they still live there. My extended family still lives there. And I learned so much. And I didn't really even have the awareness as much because I was dealing with a massive heartbreak. But I was healing through that. And I was also understanding, this is most likely why I feel this way or feel these wounds because, I see it in the family pattern. And now I understand like my great grandfather's story, who my great uncle, the first thing he told me, I'd never met this man. I'd never met him before. I was very excited. First thing he told me is like, you look exactly like my father, my great grandpa. And I was just shook, because I don't think I had ever really even seen a picture of him, or if I'd seen it, I didn't know who he was, right? Like in those old black and white pictures, nobody had really talked about him. And he's like, come, like follow me to his room upstairs. And he showed me a picture and I'm like, oh damn, we do look a lot alike. And my middle name is actually his name. So it's kind of funny. And his story is very tragic. He was unfortunately murdered, killed, and his land's stolen, and there's a lot of pain there from that family lineage. So it's been a transmutation process of that pain. My second trip was to El Salvador, and this was when I was going through a really bad time. I had a really bad PTSD episode. I nearly died. I literally almost died in a car accident, and it just triggered so much things. I was burnt out. I was pushing myself way too hard, and I was just not in a good space, even though I was externally looking okay. but I wasn't doing okay. And I came back from El Salvador. Again, same thing, a lot of healing of the mother wound, a lot of understanding and connecting. And I came back feeling so much better, not being so obsessed with the grind, not being so obsessed with the money, just letting that go. And another major trip, and not related to the Ancestral, is my camping trip to Mount Shasta the first time in September. That became a huge pivotal moment in my own dynamic within myself, within the healing of my own heart, within the healing of the dynamic between the masculine and the feminine within me, because Mount Shasta is an extremely feminine place. It is actually my favorite place. It has such a beautiful energy. It's very welcoming. I mean, it has a beautiful energy, but there's also this aspect of it that is very unknown, very, like, you gotta be careful, right? You gotta be a little bit careful. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's a certain aspect of it that it's like a portal. It's one of my friends, how did she describe it? Like a port, you can say. There are many things going on there, and a lot of them good, and a lot of them neutral. I don't really sense bad intention there, but there's a bit of like a fairy energy, actually a lot of fairy energy. And the fairies like to play, and there's just a lot going on there. But overall, it's such a great spot, and it feels very good to understand his feminine aspect, or to accept it. So I've come to the point now where I'm like, okay, like, this is within me, so obviously I'm gonna work with it the way I know works with my body, works with my field, and that feels authentic. So this current phase of my life, I am doing two different things. The way I see it, the dynamic is I'm healing the almost like the last, not the last, I don't think it's the last, but the last major leg of this healing is Spain, the Spanish. So there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of history with conquering other peoples, colonization, pillaging, rape. There's a lot of heavy energy there. There's a lot going on, and this isn't to like point fingers and get mad and make it a political rant or anything like that. This is just the history, right? So within me is obviously this mixture of, conqueror, explorer, someone who is ambitious and gets what he wants at whatever cost, gets an excess, like greedy, right? Not enough, like I came here to Spain, and I'm like, this country is huge, and there's just pieces of land that are free. It's not like super crowded. There's just, hills and trees, and there's so much nature. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how people could live here. It's beautiful. It's paradise. And think, you know what? I'm just gonna go across the sea and pillage and take even more. And I'm gonna take from these other people, these people's lands, and these people's, use these people and then bring more here. It's like, it just wasn't enough. And I'm like, what the, like, I guess, where I'm at in my life, it doesn't make sense. Like, you have more than enough here. It's such a beautiful place. It has such a beautiful energy as well. And then you see that and you decide, I'm going to do all these horrible things just to extract more. And then create this negative cycle, create this negative karma. It just blows my mind. So there's that very, very aggressive, imbalanced masculine drive, the shadow masculine in its fullest potential. And you could say even some of the shadow feminine, because it had its part in it too. The reason I say shadow feminine is because the manipulation aspect is more of a feminine a thing. So using religion, although I suppose Catholicism is more of a masculine religion, as a form of manipulation to justify the actions, right? So anyway, this is the energy of Spain within me. Before my trip, I went to Mount Shasta, and I knew there was something there for me. I knew how to do it. I was going to do it anyway, even before this trip, you can say. But there were so many doubts. There were so many just like, oh man, like, I'm cutting it close. There were other things going on in my mind. I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to do it. Is it like maybe a little like crazy? Sure. But let's go on that adventure, right? Let's go on that adventure. And like I said, Mount Shasta has a very feminine energy, very, very like nurturing, very in your heart, very flowy. And I'm like, I feel like I'm balancing these things, right? This super feminine aspect and this super masculine aspect. And you could say, so I'm like, okay, let's go there, see what goes on, what comes up. No expectation, just do what feels right, right? Do what feels correct. And that was my decision. I literally like, I mean, I took my time going up because I made it an adventure, going up the Sacramento River, and finally I get there, and it was nice. It was very, very beautiful. It like I said, it's my favorite place. Even after all this travel, it's still my favorite place. But I noticed something, like, I love it there. I genuinely, like, I love it there. I could stay there, really. But at this moment, I'm not meant to stay there. I know that. I feel that I'm not meant to stay on the mountain. I'm meant to descend from the mountain, get the medicine, get the healing, get whatever it is that I need. I don't even like saying I need, because it's a reciprocal relationship, with our areas, our places, our the different beings. It's not the take. It's not need. It's like the gift, I suppose, a gift of that exchange. So that's what it is. And I came back and it wasn't really super clear to me yet. I had a feeling. But even in that space, because it's so feminine, and even you could see it in the people as well. I met so many cool people there, and I'm very grateful that I've met them. It's just weird how like each time I go to Mount Shasta or anywhere, but especially there, I always meet people that it just aligns so perfectly. So perfectly. They always give me a piece of advice. They give me a little piece of the puzzle, or they're reflecting something back to me that I like, a conversation that I needed. And it's just so wonderful. But in these conversations, I notice a lot of tippy toeing around like the masculine, or maybe like I'll bring up a question because genuinely this is something that I'm not struggling, because it's not a struggle anymore. It's more just like, is this aspect of my masculine nature actually wrong? Is it actually unnecessary? Is it actually distorted? But in Mount Shasta, even these type of questions, like I asked, you could say one of my new friends, like I was like, well, I just feel like I have a lot of warrior energy in me, and it just feels natural to me, and she just asked a very simple question. I'm going to rephrase it because I don't remember right now. Basically, well, is that what you use to survive? Is that like a survival thing used like out of fear? And that's such an excellent question, because I don't want to be in fear. I don't want to do anything in fear. It's a very low vibration. It's not what I want to reap. Sorry, it's not what I want to sow. I don't want to reap fear. I don't want to create fear. I don't want to expand that. So I was like, oh, that's a great question, and let me, sit with it. And for the most part, yes, I'll say a lot of it does come from, you could say, fear. But there's an aspect of it that does not come from fear. It actually comes from love. It actually is an essential part of the masculine. It's an essential part to have ambition. It's an essential part. And I'm saying ambition and greed are not the same. Ambition is the drive. It's the Mars power. It's the aggression. It's the will to power. Now, who drives that? That's what matters, right? And they work in tandem. I notice like this discomfort towards these certain energies, right? Like, oh no, like this is like a place where we don't use any of that kind of vibe. And it almost feels like a rejection of the masculine, or a rejection of even myself. Like, it's not that it hurts or I take it personally, just more like, like that just doesn't really feel right inside of me. And it's not an ego thing. It's just an energy thing where it's like, I don't think they understand what the masculine is. I don't think they understand what the divine masculine is. It's like, there's an understanding, but because they don't feel it within themselves to the degree that I do, or have that deep gnosis of it, the same way I didn't have a deep gnosis of the feminine, I think they're missing that aspect, or they're rejecting that aspect. And you cannot reject that. I mean, you can reject that aspect, you 100% can, but you're going to reject it externally, and it's going to come out in a different way, right? And maybe not even the healthiest way. Even in Mount Shasta, like, I just feel like I don't really fit in 100%. But it was never an outward rejection. It's just more like, I don't think that's good. Question that. I've questioned it. And for the most part, believe, yeah, a lot of the drives do come from this fear base. But when it's not, and it's just there, it's untapped power. It's untapped raw life force. It's like the creation aspect in terms of like physically creating. And they both, the feminine and masculine, work together to make that. So I think there's like a third option where you don't completely, what would you call this? Castrate the masculine. Because that's almost what it feels like. You're like, this is the masculine and it's being packaged. It's being neatly like smoothed out by the feminine. But it's like, well, maybe it doesn't need to be smoothed out. Maybe it needs to exist the way it is, but work, together. And maybe sometimes, like it becomes one thing. Yeah, there's smoothness and then there's some rough spots. There's some jagged edges. It's like, how are you going to use that jagged edge? Is it going to be fear? Is it going to be intimidation? Is it going to be from these places that don't sow and reap what we want? Or is it going to be used in the way of like, okay, having boundaries around certain things is very important, especially like living in this earth. There are forces, whether we like it or not. There are things that try to come into our boundaries, that try to influence us in negative ways. And the masculine is going to create the boundary. It's going to have the shield up, and it's going to have the sword when necessary. And that's what I feel in Mount Shasta. Like not people, but at least in my experience, the sword is very just like, ooh, sharp. We don't do sharp. But the reality is sharp exists. It exists because it has to exist. For this to exist, this has to exist. The goal is the marriage. But anyway, that's enough of that. So I love it there. I feel accepted. It's just these small portions where I'm like, well, do you actually accept me? Do you actually see my heart? Do you actually see my intention? It's a transmutation process. It's like finding out what it looks like outside of the dominant paradigm of the society of what masculinity looks like. It's a very new territory for, I think, a lot of people. But anyway, so I go there and I like, okay, I feel more solid in who I am. I feel more solid in where I fit, where the feminine fits, where the masculine fits. I feel more solid. Now it's time to go to Spain. Spain is beautiful. I'll describe the energy. The energy it's old. It's a beautiful energy. It has a lot of feminine energy, actually, this land. But there's that masculine, right? That ancestral that I told you. You see the cathedrals and it's massive amounts of wealth. And it's like, where did that wealth get extracted from, right? Where did that gold and those gems and all this get extracted from? Yeah, like it got extracted in not the best means. I've met people here that represent a super masculine, like where I was going in a way, not as extreme, but where I was going before about a year ago. Super masculine, not in touch with the feminine or emotions, only doing, not being present. Overall, great guy, but very imbalanced, very out of touch with his feelings, rejecting his own feminine nature completely and rejecting other people's weaknesses and feminine nature, very judgmental. I was like, okay, this is an old aspect of myself. This is something like and this is the thing, like I'm meeting people and it's all reflecting, right, these certain things. And I'm like, I had a good time with him. I accepted him for who he was, but he's on his way. We didn't connect like that. We're not working together. We're going different pathways. And I do pray for him. Like, I do pray that whatever he ends up doing is for his highest good. And it's, that love fills his heart, because we definitely need that. So here in Spain, it's confronting that. It's like, I have that conqueror DNA, that conqueror within me. And I know I've seen it. I know I've tapped into it. I know because sometimes it feels good, but then it's whatever. Once it's over, it's like, well, that was fun while it lasted. I like putting on some Viking music and just hammering in the work and getting the result. It feels so good. Mostly when it's aligned, but when it's not, it's hollow. It doesn't mean anything. Like all these copious amounts of wealth, imagine, like that got extracted. Like those people are all dead. And now, yeah, you have the monuments are pretty cool, but like at what cost? So coming here, I've realized, okay, this is not what I want it to be. And I'm happy I came, because now it confirms what it looks like. It confirms where I want to go. So my feminine is going to look like this. My masculine is going to look like this, and they're going to work together like this. Like I'm still working it out, but now I'm like, okay, now I know. And accepting them, but then leaving them or integrating them, however it works. And overall, the lesson I've got here in Spain is let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Learn to let go, but also learn when to take. It becomes a part of you. There's some very positive aspects of this ambition, right? This drive. And there's some very positive aspects of being and stillness and presence. Now I get where I want to go. Is it gonna look perfect? Hell nah. It ain't, no way. No way. But now that I've physically gone to these places, I'm working it out. And like I said, I'm meeting people that are reflecting. And I'm not completely agreeing with anybody, actually. It's like, I'm not meant to follow. And you're not meant to follow. Maybe certain things, but like, you are you. You're gonna know best what works for you. And we're not all equal ratio 50-50. Maybe you feel more comfortable in feminine energy or doing certain things, and maybe you're more comfortable in masculine energy, and then integrating a little bit of this and that. It's like the yin and yang, right? Little like big white piece, little black piece. And oh man, I'm doing a discredit to that. I'm so sorry. Like if you're Taoist, I'm not trying to offend you, but it's just like the simplest way I could think about it. I'm not completely feminine. It's actually not my strongest attribute. Like it's a very, when I feel her and when she's online and I'm listening, I'm like, whoa, you're pretty cool. You're really, really cool. And I love it. It's not like, a lot of my intuition is actually gut feelings. That's how I've always felt it in my gut, which is more of a masculine type of intuition, because they both have intuition, and I didn't know that. So I'm like, oh, actually a lot of my intuition is still masculine in nature. It's very instinctual, very in my body. So it's just accepting that, like, hey, this is where I'm at and this is what I've gotten from it. I don't seem to fit in either world. I just genuinely, and before it bothered me, does it still bother me? No, actually, it doesn't bother me. I think it's more, it doesn't bother me, but it does suck, because I think at the end of the day, we want to be accepted for who we are. We want to be accepted for where we're going, especially if our heart is in the right place. It's like, well, I am who I am. Because overall, I accept other people as long as they're not like being shitheads, as long as they're doing their best. Like that guy that I met that I'm saying we're in different paths. I accepted him. I was like, okay, like there's certain things that definitely I don't resonate with. I don't want to continue that type of thought process or behavior. It's acceptance of like who he is and not trying to change him, but maybe like planting a seed or two, or maybe asking a question. And I think that's okay. Just asking a question might open up certain other questions, and then the work is on him. At the end of the day, the work is on him. The work is on me. The work is on you. The work is on us. We can't change anybody. It's okay not to fit in either world. Like I feel like I don't really fit in here because I feel like they don't like this aspect about me. And there's this almost arrogance, like, oh, like that's a wound. It's like, I think a lot of it is a wound. I'll work through that. But the nugget, the gold is not a wound. It's not a wound. I just don't think you know or feel it, or it's not seen. It's so rare that I don't think you see it, or maybe you haven't explored that yourself. And then on the other side, it's like, yeah, definitely I'm not this grind, super macho, masculine, like status, and just a lot of ego. I would say a lot of ego. I just don't resonate with that. Even less than here, actually. I really am like, nah, That's not for me. I don't want to chase money. I don't want to chase status. I don't want to chase any of that. Like, I'm not interested. So just accumulating to accumulate. If anything, I'm the opposite. I want to be like free. I want actual freedom, and freedom from money, right? Like that's the goal, because we're stuck in this system. We're stuck in this matrix. We've made certain agreements, and I don't want to partake in that. Actually, I don't want to be a debt slave. I do not want to. I don't care about things really. Like, I don't care about the car. I don't care. I mean, I want a car because A to B so I can travel. But like, I don't need the best fucking what cars are there, like an Audi R8, or I don't need a Range Rover. I don't need to look a certain type of way. I don't give a shit, man. I don't care. And I don't care about having the biggest mansion or anything that's like, look at my really big like, I don't give a fuck. I don't fall into either of these. Like, I have too much drive, and you could say ambition, and for a lot of spiritual people, especially more on the feminine side. And here it's like I don't even fit in at all, really, like anymore, because then I'm just pretending. At least here I'm not really pretending. Feminine tends to be a little bit more accepting, but with the men, you know, this type of masculine culture, it's like, well, you're being a pussy. I guess I am. I guess if that's what you think, that's really says more about that person's perspective than mine, right? So it's okay. Like, it's okay, because as long as we know where we stand in that, that's really all that matters. And standing in that zone of like integrity, zone of power, zone of authenticity, zone of being, that's where the medicine really is. But anyway, so travel is going to reveal a lot about you. And if you can't travel, then it's usually in the circles we run with, who we hang out with, the people that come into our lives, that exit our lives, that there's so many patterns there. Travel for me has just been, I guess, I'm just that type of person that inadvertently I end up somewhere. I'm like, oh wow, this actually aligns really, really well. Anyway, enough of me. I would like it if you let me know if there's anywhere in particular that you felt that same energy. For me, it was obviously Mount Shasta, Spain, Mexico, Salvador. Is there somewhere where you came out of it and you're like, holy crap? Maybe something magical like Scotland, or something ancestral for you, and you came back transformed, transmuting, because it's a really cool, it's a really great adventure, honestly. Anyway, I'm gonna head out. I've really there's so much to do out here, so I will catch you in the next video.